Hey guys, long time no see. This is Senile, and I am back with some more Assassin's Creed 3 multiplayer gameplay. Although, in this particular circumstance, this video is actually nothing to do with the completely incongruous gameplay that I'm putting on display, because I'm pretty much going to be talking about AC4, because, as you probably would have known, if you don't know, you probably wouldn't be watching this video, that announcements for AC4 have been made and several details have been provided. So I'm just going to go through some of them. I'm not really going to talk about the multiplayer aspect of it yet. I might probably analyze things like that in passing comments in future videos. But I'm pretty much going to talk about the single player right now, because that is obviously the thing that the most information has been provided for. I'll start off with the new protagonist, which is Kenway, fucking retard. Edward Kenway, Kenway's father, and obviously Connor's grandfather, which I think is a pretty cool idea, because if you've read the book Forsaken, which obviously was released sort of alongside AC3, you'd know obviously a few things about Edward Kenway. Obviously he was sort of responsible for training Haytham and stuff like that, and I won't give any other things away about that, just in case you haven't read that book. But I recommend it if you want to know some backstory about him. But yeah, I think that's quite a cool idea that they're bringing him into it. And another thing, you probably would already know that this game is going to be pirate-themed, and Edward is a pirate, which is pretty cool, because I, along with quite a few people, think pirates are pretty sick. They're pretty cool. And another thing that's kind of interesting about it is I don't really know a lot about pirates besides the stereotypical pirate thing, the whole parrot on the shoulder walking the plank shit. I don't really know historically a lot about pirates, so I guess for me personally, it's quite an interesting acrobatic motherfucker. Yeah, I'm not talking about the actual game, but that was kind of fun to pull that off on that guy. But yeah, yeah, I think the pirate thing is actually quite a good idea, quite a unique sort of direction to take things. So I think there could be all sorts of interesting things to happen there, hopefully. And along with the pirate theme is the appropriate setting, which is going to be, well, a boatload, pardon the pun I suppose, of Caribbean islands. Which again is interesting for me in particular, because I have roots in Caribbean islands. And yeah, so it'd be cool to go to some of these places. My roots specifically are in Barbados. I have no idea what relation that place has to pirates and stuff, but that would be awesome if I get to go there. There's apparently 50 locations that you can visit in this game, and that would be pretty awesome if that's one of them. But I know Havana and what else? Cuba and Kingston in Jamaica. That's been a couple of places that are announced, and that's cool. That means there's going to be quite a few exotic locations. One thing about that though is because this is obviously the new world, and it's like, as opposed to places like the Italy in the Renaissance of AC2 and AC Brotherhood and stuff like that, there's probably not going to be as many huge fuck-off buildings, because that was one of the main sort of criticisms of AC3, that the buildings weren't sort of that interesting to sort of climb around and stuff like that. I still found it entertaining, as I pretty much always do, because I just find free running around like a flying squirrel just entertaining by default. But that was a criticism, and so I'm just wondering how that's going to turn out. But I still think there's going to be some pretty interesting exotic locations, so yeah, I think that is good overall. Like I said, I want to go to Barbados. I've only been once in my actual life, and that'll be interesting to go visit it in a way I can't actually visit in real life, namely fuckloads of years ago. But anyway, what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, one of the main things that's obviously going to come with the pirate theme is ship combat, because obviously pirates sailed the high seas, fucking shit up, plundering, booty and all that shit, so there's going to be a lot of ship combat. Apparently, according to sources I can't be fucked to cite, there's going to be around 40% ship combat related missions and 60% of shit going on land. So that obviously means they're putting a lot of effort into the ship combat stuff. They're obviously looking to develop it from the ship combat we saw in AC3, And apparently it's AC3 ship combat was described as a teaser to what is going to happen in AC4. So they're obviously going to develop it a lot. They said there's going to be all sorts of enemy archetypes and stuff to add more of a sort of strategic element to it. So that could be cool, and I for one thought the ship combat in AC3 was awesome. The only concern with the fact that it's obviously there's going to be a lot more of it in this game is, would it possibly become boring if it's made a lot more frequent? Because one of the things I liked about it was the fact that it was almost entirely optional. There was only a couple of missions that you really had to do. A lot of them were like just little optional missions that you could just join on the fly. And I like the fact that I could take a break from the sneaking and stabbing and murdering and just go onto my ship and fire cannons at people. I thought that was a cool little just break I could have. So, I don't know, maybe it might become boring if you have to do it more often. But then again, like I've said, they're going to obviously make it a lot more in-depth, hopefully, in comparison to AC3, so it might be different, but I'm just hoping, because obviously if you're on a ship a lot, there's going to be less opportunities for sort of stealthy assassin gameplay. Obviously they mentioned stuff about like how you could jump off your ship and sneak around the back of an enemy ship and then climb up that ship and stab their captain and stuff like that, which is obviously the kind of stealthy stuff that I personally am looking for. But there's obviously going to be less stealth in sailing around a boat, things like that. But it could be kind of Zelda Wind Waker-y kind of thing. That's what it seems to be like, since there's going to be like loads of small islands to go and visit and things like that. And along with the shitload of islands, that's going to leave quite a good opportunity for all sorts of like secret locations and stuff. And secret locations are one of the things I think are awesome in the Assassin's Creed series since AC2 with the tombs and everything. I've loved exploring the little secret locations and like solving all the strange puzzles that are in there and stuff like that. I thought they are one of the best parts of the game in my opinion. So hopefully there's going to be a lot more of those. Because obviously we'll be looking for booty and stuff, being a pirate who now decided fuck the Royal Navy when I could just steal shit, which is fair enough, to be honest. Another thing about the protagonist is I noticed in a lot of like screenshots and stuff that he likes to dual wield cutlasses, which is pretty cool. I'm liking that the protagonists, they're now sort of developing protagonists in a way that they have their own sort of signature fight style. Because obviously with Connor you've got your tomahawk and the fact that he's always dual wielding with that little knife thing in his other hand, which made for some really cool animations with his combos and stuff. So it's going to be cool to see what Edward Kenway pulls off with his big, massive, dirty double cutlass fucking crazy style, because that's going to make for some quite epic looking kills, I think. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. What else was I was going to say? Oh yeah, the future. This is another important thing, because obviously at the end, well, unless you, well, if you haven't played the end of AC3, then you should probably just pause this video for about 25 seconds. Because, yeah, at the end of AC3, Desmond gets cooked to perfection by the magical ball of death. That's pretty much what I'm going to call it. I don't know what they call it, but I'm going to call it the magical ball of fiery death. Yeah, he gets cooked. So he's no longer in it anymore. And according to more sources I can't be fucked to cite, the protagonist, in terms of the future portion of the game, is going to be you, or I, or anyone else, whoever you are playing the game. You are going to be that character, and apparently you're basically going to be a sort of researcher, trawling through the memories of Edward Kenway to look for, again, something. I don't know what you'll be looking for this time and why you're looking for it, which will obviously be developed as we hear more about the game. But I suppose that's an interesting thing, because obviously they have to figure out a way of continuing this now, because essentially the trilogy, the main trilogy, is sort of over, with Desmond being, like I said, pause it if you don't want to hear this bit again, but cooked to perfection by magically fiery ball of death. So yeah, he's gone. So basically, so I'm interested to see how that's gonna, like how our sort of character is supposed to impact what's going on with like Juno and stuff, because again, spoiler, Juno has basically been released and is now probably going to be running around Earth enslaving everyone. So it'd be interesting to see why we need to be trawling through the memories of another assassin to try and solve this problem. So yeah, that's yeah, something that could potentially be quite interesting. And the last thing I'm going to say as this goes towards the end, apparently, again, sources I can't be asked to cite, they are going to, well, Ubisoft, like members of Ubisoft have said they're going to encourage a lot more stealth, because again, Assassin's Creed 3 was criticised for not being stealthy enough, and the assassinations not being as sort of open-ended enough. And apparently the level design is going to encourage a lot more stealth, which they haven't really elaborated on how that is going to be, how they're going to, like, put that across, but at least they have shown that they are listening to that aspect, and they're trying to make sure that stealth remains a sort of pinnacle of the series. So anyway, that was just my my insight into what I have found about AC4 since I've started basically trawling the internet for it and stuff. So yeah, leave your opinions in the comments and shit. I'd like to have some sort of discussion about this. What do you find worrying? What do you think is going to be awesome about it? Is your overall impression good? Obviously there's lots of people saying, oh, it's a yearly release cycle and we fucking hate that and stuff like that. So yeah, what is your impressions of the fact that it's coming out? Like, news about it came very soon after the release of AC3 and stuff like that. So just yeah, leave anything in the comments that you want to talk about that's related to AC4. And yeah, after this I'll be back to my AC3 multiplayer videos, commentaries and stuff as usual, and because I'm sort of back after a fucking disgustingly filthy busy period of dirt and yeah, hard times for me. But yeah, comment, rate, and subscribe and all that stuff, and like I said, yeah, engage in some discussion about this, because yeah, it'd be interesting to hear you guys' comments and stuff about AC4 Black Flag. So yeah, I'll see you next time. See you later.